Why, hello, everybody. What it do, who it is, and what it be. Hello, hello. 'Tis I, the rambling homeless man, here to deliver you more nonsense. Nonsense. Gobbledygook. Silliness. You tell me to do a fart, you don't tell me what to do. Okay? You don't know me. You don't know who I am. What? Video novel. Alright, let's try this. Oh my god, dude. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if that fixed it. Jesus Christ, man. It's just like Lacey and Blair are having a debate. Cool. Hey, baby. Yeah, it's a little. The streaming is a little wonky, but the good news is that I get my computer back first thing tomorrow. Yes. 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 It's fixed. It's not gonna be a normal human being with my own computer again. It was at the shop. The water cooling pump was defective and wasn't cooling my processor, which was going into failsafe, and I didn't know because water cooling pumps are like whisper quiet. So there you go. Am I in heaven? Yeah, it's called Bellevue, Washington. And why is it so bright? Because the sun never sets at Bellevue. I'm looking thinner? That can't be true. There's no way I'm looking physically thinner after working out 2 or 3 times. I ain't ignoring you. Be right back. I gotta go grab something to drink, y'all. It's just so tough to be alive when you feel like the living dead. I'm giving it up so high. You know I really tried. I tried so hard to get by. But where am I going to? I don't wanna be free of hope, but I'm at the end of my rope, and it's so hard just to be alive when you feel like the living dead. Something, living my life in vain. Where are you going to? Okay. Now I'm not a mess. Now I've got everything that an individual needs to have a situation. I know, dude. Don't you guys love this content, man? The empty chair. Let's fill up the fucking vape, dude. I don't know what. I got 3 of these vapors and none of them work. I got 3 of these vapors and none of them work. Okay. Vape Nash, yeah, dude, your vapor. Gotta have your vape. Your French vanilla, dude. Thoughts on objective morality? It doesn't exist. It's a fantasy. For evidence of this, take a look at any other civilization in human history and how their morality differed from us. Our morality would have been seen as deviant in some ways because, hold on to your butts here, communities of like-minded humans make a social contract and decide what morality is. See? I know it's shocking. I know it's shocking, guys. In some societies, murder is okay, or at least justifiable in a way that it isn't in ours. In some societies, the age of consent is different. The age of alcohol consumption is different. In some societies, the entire idea of how people deal with one another is different. You know, and you want to tell me there's an objective morality, well, point to show it to me. Because I ain't seen it. Well-being subjective, everything's subjective. Except for the fact that I need to get a new dick. That's the only objective fact in this cold, dark universe. Why do you think people who work in the food industry get a bad rap? You're a store manager and your aunt looks down upon it? I don't know, dude. People, I don't know. It is true, though. There are some people that, like, you know, if you're working in the food industry in some middle management position, you're making a good living and you're doing okay. There's some people that'll turn their nose up at that kind of living because they think that it's somehow debasing yourself to work at a place like that. I don't understand it. All jobs suck, or at least most of them do. We can prove objectively how things affect humans and when the best age to allow access based on reaction and median of age. I mean, well, that's how we deal with it, right? In our society, that's our take on it, and we're trying to find that magical number. And you know, we take our best guess and we say, and we force that line. We say, okay, it's gross if you fuck a 17-year-old, but it's not gross if you fuck an 18-year-old. And we all decide as a society to go, okay. And you know, then we go, oh, you know, when you're 18, you're an adult, but you can't drink until you're 21. And we all go, okay. That's what morality is. I mean, that's it. Well-being isn't subjective. It's a latent variable. All right. Well, there you go. You heard it straight from a botanist. The only way your AI society would work is if you made people believe the AI is God. Well, that's part of my plan. Not necessarily making them believe that it's God, but giving it powers that you know, are sufficiently more godlike than anything a human being can conjure up in their imagination. Thus, maybe supplanting the need to have that spiritual connection with people. If people can go to the machine with their problems, if they can pray to the machine, then, you know, what use are these old kind of fairy tales going to be? I mean, we have this very, you know, now-centric view because we're all living now. But there are a ton of religions like Christianity, like Islam, that have come and gone. somebody down there just like whistling? I'm gonna throw a fucking grenade out the window in 5 seconds. I'm gonna lob a grenade out there. Who the fuck's kid is down there blowing a whistle? Fucking chuck a grenade out that goddamn window. Hi, Mr. Naughty Priest. I appreciate the $200, but I'm not gonna pull my dick out. But thank you for the $200. I really do appreciate that. It's Scotty. You think so? You think Scotty is Mr. Naughty Priest? Or Scotty is the dude out there whistling? Which one? I can't do it, dude. If I pulled my dick out, I would get the $200, but then they'd shut my channel down, dude, because there'd be a cock on it. You might as well pull your dick out at this point. I don't know. Ashley's gonna suck my dick. Cool. Come on home, baby. I'm gonna take you up on that, dude. I'm gonna make you make good on that promise that you made in my YouTube chat. It's time for a blowy, dude. Tonight is blowy time. I've not seen 10 Cloverfield Lane yet. Maybe he's an eccentric millionaire who loves YouTube streams. Maybe he's a dude that's trolling, that's, giving all these big chunks of money, and then he's going to issue a chargeback at the end of it. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Save a good load for me. Done deal. Done deal. Man, I love my girlfriend. Maybe he needs to kill himself. Wow, that's harsh, man. Why would you go there with it, dude? He's just a nice guy giving some money. I've seen the new It trailer. I watched it this morning when I first got up. It's awful. It's like, they've taken it and they've turned it into the kids. I guess they are going to do like some split stuff where they go into the future, which I'm happy about. All they show in the teaser trailer is the kids, so I was worried that they were just going to do away with the fact that the movie takes place over a long period of time. But they've taken it out of the 50s and they put it in the 80s so that they can make it more modern, and that kind of fucks things, because part of what it was about is about the town of Derry and the nascent racism and cultural division that exists there. Like, really, it is about Derry. Not Pennywise. It's not about a boogly clown that comes out and goes, "Scooby-Doo, I'm a clown, Scooby-Doo-bop-bop-ba-dee-bop-bop, here's some blood." I mean, that happens in the story, but really the story, the villain of it is Derry, Maine. This little town is rotten to the core. The people in it are rotten. And because of that rot, this great cosmic evil has found this town and has germinated in it. That's what the movie is about. It's not about a spooky clown that jumps out of the fucking dark. And the reason it's set in the 50s is because at that time when these kids are growing up, there was great racial division. The 50s was a great time of social upheaval. So it was a commentary on small town America during the 50s and how those problems linger, generationally speaking. How the town changed and how it didn't from the time that these people were children to the time that they were adults. That's what it is about. And the teaser trailer didn't tease that. The teaser trailer teased a spooky story about a bunch of kids that fight an evil clown. And he comes out of the dark and he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Looks like fucking garbage. What are your thoughts on this chat? Do you think it's total garbage or just harmless retards? Or do you think... I think it's retardage, honestly. Personally. But I'm retarbage too, so I guess retarbage in, retarbage out, right? Fuck me, fuck you, Hugo. Can you admit The Shining is the greatest horror movie of all time? I don't know if it's the greatest horror movie of all time, but it's on the list for sure. Narcissistic asshole in the chat thinks he's above everyone. Oh no, dude. People are angry. People are mad today. Paul, you guys were right about Beauty and the Beast. It was fucking boring and at worst pointless. There you go. All these remakes, man, all these reboots. Pull your fucking dick out, Paul. Can I tell the trumpet story again? Why would I tell a story I've already told again, dude? Again? Oh yeah, dude, Ghostbusters 2016 was a masterpiece. I mean, the best remake of all time, easily. I have not gone to the gym yet today. I go in the evenings, so I will be going tonight. Tonight I'll be just doing some cardio. I'm going to do half an hour to 45 minutes of cardio, keep myself going. I'm going to take a break from the weightlifting because I can barely lift my arm. Have you ever heard about Hang Ayaz Nazimi? Nope. Yeah, if you don't tell me the truth, I'm going to have to fight this man. Oh, Dad. Did you do a stream on the Amazing Atheist channel? I did not. I did not, sir. You're live in the studio while you're blowing glass? Cool, dude. That's cool. Blow some fucking awesome glass today. You guys make, what do you make? Art glass or pipes or what? Bongs? Either way, cool job, man. Pakistanis are calling for comedic atheists hanging and it's blowing up on Twitter. Cool. Like, way to be modern. Way to be modern people. Thank you, Logan. Let's call for the hanging of people because we don't like the things that they say. It's pretty awesome, man. The Islamic world is integrating well. They're coming around, man. They're really coming around, man. Things are getting better. Things are looking up over there. Where's that drunken stream you did on the Drunken Peasants channel? I have no idea. Just because a movie is meant for kids does not give it a pass. A movie can be awesome despite what age it was meant for. Okay, fair enough. I totally agree, by the way. Just saying it's a kid's movie is not an excuse for a dog shit movie. Like, I took, this was before, like in 2015, I took my little niece and nephew to see like a Minion movie. And that movie was just retarded. And they were bored. Like, you could tell, like, some parts they liked, but for the most part, they were just like, I was just like, man, it's just a shit-ass, fucking turd-ass, bitch-ass, whack-ass fucking movie. Like, I don't care if it's a kid's movie. The kids in here aren't even enjoying this stupid piece of fucking shit. My favorite way to smoke is, I like pipes and bongs. I mean, like, those are my two go-tos. We have really low expectations for movies. Well, I mean, like, look, there's always been shit bad movies. But, you know, that's not a new thing. There's always been garbage film. But yeah, I do believe that our expectations for movies have been lowered pretty significantly in the last 20 or 30 years to the point where we just accept any kind of schlocky fucking garbage that's thrown at us. And people are, like, you know, like to fucking defend it. There are people that are like, oh, I like it. Jurassic Park, the first, was the last awesome movie. I don't agree. Have you seen Silence? Nope. Melissa McCarthy is yeah, dude. I know. Like, it's like, how do you do that, dude? How do you like look at Ghostbusters and make that other film and think you did a good thing? Think you did something that people are gonna like? Like, I'm just dreading the day, dude. I'm dreading the day where they fucking remake the Goonies, dude. They're gonna do it. And I'm gonna go see another movie, and I'm gonna see the trailer. They're gonna do the teaser trailer, and it's gonna be something like, it's gonna be a black screen with a skull on it way off in the distance, and it's gonna slowly get bigger, and it's gonna go, "There be a legend of a pirate and his gold." You know, and then the skull will get closer. "Trapped in a cove for 100 years, waiting to be discovered." And as the skull gets closer, you'll see there's a patch over the eye, and then in the background you'll hear, "Hey, you guys." Summer 2019. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's a matter of time. And when that happens, I may never go to the movies again. I may just quit. I may be done. And then they're gonna cast a skinny kid as Chunk, and they're gonna cast like a really attractive actor like Benedict Cumberbatch or something as Sloth. And it's gonna be set in the in modern times, so the kids will have all kinds of cell phones, and Data, the little Asian kid, will have like holographic laser swords that he pulls out to fight the Fratellis with, and you know, it'll be pretty cool. It's going to be an awesome remake, guys. I cannot wait. Amy Schumer is Sloth. Melissa McCarthy is Chunk, dude. Melissa McCarthy as Chunk. No, Melissa McCarthy is Mama Fratelli. Yeah. Amy Schumer is Chunk. I don't know, dude. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be goddamn fucking awful, dude. The only movie I went to in recent memory was Godzilla 2014. That was pretty enjoyable, I think. Bright made fun of you again, Paul. Oh no! Whatever will I do? The matinee tried to bait me into talking about him by making a video. I think I'll just respond with one word. 3. And that's it. That's all I got to say on the subject. The Amy Schumer Netflix special only has 1 star. That's sad. Three. Those new Dave Chappelle specials were great, though. I haven't seen them yet, but I've heard good things. I don't know, dude. I think in some ways, maybe Amy Schumer gets a little bit of a bum rap. I think she's a pretty funny comedian. But yeah, the plagiarism shit is hard to shake off as a comedian. You know, it's a tough thing. I have not seen Kong Skull Island, nor do I have any fucking desire to see Kong Skull Island. I don't want to see it. I don't care about it. You addressed the recent dust-up between... There wasn't a dust-up. He came in here and I fucked on him for like 5 minutes and then ignored him for the rest of the day. Is that a dust-up now? I don't trust a guy who keeps putting down $200 to $500. Well, I mean, look, Super Chat is a new thing, so maybe, you know, all of those $200 charges will be charged back at the end of the month or something. I don't know. I really don't know how it works. I don't know what, you know, nobody really knows much of anything about Super Chat yet. TJ stole the stream. I mean, there's still people here, so, you know, he can have a stream on his channel, and I'll have one here, or he can have, you know, we can run dual streams. Fucking GJ. Don't cross the streams, dude. Yeah, TJ always crosses the streams, man. It's okay though. TJ is a muppet. Get off the butane. Start lighting your weed with hemp wicks, Paul Zigo. Stop with the butane, Paul Zigo. TJ like do dangerous thing. TJ like do dangerous thing. Ha ha! TJ like do dangerous thing. Smoking weed seems boring. Cool. Then don't do it. That leaves more weed for me. You know what? In fact, you're right. It's boring as fuck, and you should never speak about it or talk about it or even really think about it ever again. Certainly never take the time to type a comment about it ever again, dude. It's fucking boring, and it's beneath you. Genuinely, it's beneath you. Legalize cocaine. Okay. Cool. My favorite John Carpenter film is probably The Thing. It's hard to beat that film in general. I'm smoking the very last little bit of my J47. Look at that. I have to walk down today to Green Theory and get some more weed. It's the last little bit of my half O. So Escape from New York is really good too. I actually liked Escape from LA. It's campy as fuck, but whatever. I like Snake Plissken, man. I can't help it. I'm a fan of Snake Plissken. XJ13. Okay. I did not watch the Lacey versus Blair debate yet, but I probably will. I'll probably check it out. Can you guys, like those of you that did watch it, can you tell me kind of like how it went? How much did this half O go for? I think for this, I paid, I don't know, dude. I'll let you know, like when I go down and buy. I think I paid like, I want to say I paid like 105 for it, maybe. Maybe a little less. It might have been way less. But I think it was right around $100. Lacey couldn't stop talking. How come we never see you smoking hash oil? Because I don't. I mean, I do it like socially and every once in a while, but I smoke. I don't like dabbing as a daily thing. I prefer just smoking weed. I haven't seen Life yet, no. Would you take the camera with you to Green Theory? Maybe. I mean, I've done it before. I've taken a little stroll down there. So we'll see. Will we cover the Lacey thing? I mean, if there's stuff in there that's worth covering, we probably will. If it was generally boring and shit, probably not. What do I make of Alien Covenant? I'm gonna go see it and I'll let you know. I haven't seen it yet. Well, it's not out yet, so it looks pretty cool. I like the trailers. It's awesome that when you run out of weed, you just have to walk to the nearest store. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I still marvel at the ability to go and do that. Do you see yourself shooting any standalone non-stream DP vids in the near future? Yeah, like I want to be able to do different things on this channel. Upload different kind of perspectives on things. But right now, really, I'm using it as a streaming platform, and I'm trying to get in the groove of that. But yeah, I don't think that it would be wrong for me to say don't ever expect anything else other than streaming from the channel. I'm your best only friend? That ain't true, man. That ain't true. Advice on quitting weed? You had to stop because of panic attacks? You need to step yourself down and get off of weed. If you're having panic attacks and it's not a positive in your life, then stop smoking it, yeah. Who's the most creative peasant? I have no idea, man. They're all really creative guys, all have very different ways of attacking problems, so it would be really hard for me to, put that out there. Would I smoke Salvador? I'd smoke some weed from El Salvador, but I don't think I'd smoke Salvador the dog. One day you need to start a stream and only fart. Okay, I'll do that. One day. Stay tuned. You'll never know when it's coming, but one day I'll start one of these, and then when everybody gets in the room, I'm just going to quietly bend over and fart into the camera and then end the stream. It'll happen. Ideology is the worst name ever. Green Thing 518. Man, dude, people in glass houses, bro. Holy shit. Green Thing 518. Because somebody else was already Green Thing, so I appended a number to the end of it. But let me critique somebody else's channel name. Shut your fucking pie hole, bitch. Green Thing 518. The fuck out of here. Yeah, I did get you there, didn't I? Yeah. Fuck, man. Sucks, doesn't it? Why is the priest dude giving thousands of dollars to us? Maybe he's a rich guy that likes to throw money around. I have no idea, dude. You want it, like, why don't you ask Mr. Naughty Priest why he gives so much money? Do you think the new Indiana Jones movie is going to be good? Is there a new one coming out? Probably not. Do you ever imagine yourself writing a novel? Maybe. It's not something I'm looking to start in the near future, but I could see myself maybe working on a project like that in the future. How the workout's going? Really well, man. I'm sore as fuck. Me and Scotty worked out pretty hard last night. So I'll be going back today to do some cardio a little later in the day. That'll be that. Pull my vagina out. And it's me you need to show. How thick is your cum? It's your cum. How thick is your cum? I really need to know. How thick is your cum? Jesus, man. What a song. I don't direct theater or film. I've never directed a thing in my whole life. I've acted in theater, and to a lesser extent some like minor films. Nothing in Hollywood. Done student films and local films and stuff like that. This is the Paul's Ego channel. Blah, 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 blah. Paul, will you quench my hearse? Is it on fire? If your hearse is on fire, you probably might want to get the garden hose, because you got a better chance of putting it out than I do. Is Dr. Segmento evil? I think that's obvious. I think that Dr. Segmento is the one that has been poisoning TJ's mind over these years and making him into such a reprehensible neckbeard. I think it's Dr. Segmento that's the evil beating heart behind TJ Kirk, and that's my personal view on the subject. Dr. Segmento is like Watto, dude, or Quado from fucking Total Recall, man. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, just no atmosphere. Haven't had sex in 4 years. God, man, that's depressing. I'm sorry. How much head do I get? As much head as I want. When I ask for head, I typically get it. Thoughts on Trump repealing the clean air, clean power legislation Obama had put in place? Let's get serious with your streams. Fuck the dumb questions. What are my thoughts on Trump repealing clean air regulations put in place by his predecessor? I think it's bad. I mean, like, look, how many different ways, like, you say let's get serious with the stream, right? Like, how many different ways can I say Trump fucking sucks? Like, how many different, like, yeah, dude, it sucks. What do you think? I'm going to find some, like, 4D chess way of saying it's a good thing that he repealed environmental regulations? Like, no, it sucks. Trump was a bad choice for president. He's bad. And he's going to be bad for this country. And that's it. Like, what else can I say? Do I think he'll be impeached? Maybe. I mean, he has historically, and at least in my lifetime, I can't remember a president that has a 36 or lower percent approval rating less than 6 months into office. That's unprecedented in my lifetime. So he's a dude that isn't even liked by the people in his own party, and people like that tend to get impeached. So if he, like, maybe he'll get impeached over this bullshit, like, story that he dropped, this supposed fucking wiretapping evidence that's never materialized. To me, that's an impeachable offense. When the leader of our country goes out publicly and claims that the previous leader committed a bunch of crimes against him and then provides no evidence for it, is that becoming of the leader of a country? No. I don't know, man. Like, I get kind of tired of, like, the Trump shit. There's only so many ways to say Trump sucks dick. So I guess I'm on the record. Like, again, Trump sucks. He's shitty. He's stupid. He's unintelligent. He's intellectually dishonest. He lacks curiosity. He has a terrible vocabulary. He's not a very smart man. What do you want to hear? I think our vice president is a flaming pile of family values garbage. Just a horrible pick. A horrible, horrible shitbag of a pick. I don't know, like... Yeah, dude, I understand, man. It's just hard, you know, sometimes. I spend so much time on the actual show discussing, you know, this thing that Trump did, that thing that Trump did, and it's like, you know, every day Trump does something stupid and reprehensible. And how many times can you go, oh no, bad, 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 bad? Say something edgy real quick? Sure. Life is supposed to be this thing filled with light and happiness, but really it's dark and it's cold and it's lonely. Is that edgy enough for you? Is that good? Any metal band recommendations that aren't mainstream? I mean, like, I don't listen to a ton of metal, and I think Mastodon is pretty mainstream, so that's usually the metal band that I try and put people onto. So I don't know. I don't know any really underground metal shit, but if you haven't listened to Mastodon... Hello, Paul. My name is Ryby. I'm a big fan. Hello, Ryby. My name is Paul, and I'm a big fan of you. Ryby and I are both working out right now, dude. Ryby's doing squats. She's working on that booty. You know what I mean? And I've been going to the gym. Yep. I've been hitting up the gym, dude. One of these days I'll be hotter than Ribeye, dude. I'll surpass Ribeye in hotness. And then I'll know I've made it. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your squat? She can squat on my face. That'll help. Wow. Wow, man. What was that? Like less than a minute? Less than a minute before somebody propositioned Ribeye? $1,200 you'd squat on somebody's face? Cool. Well, there's your price, guys. Oh shit, dude, there's an actual Ribeye Jenkins in the chat, dude. Oh shit, now we're having problems, guys. Now we're having problems. Now there's an actual Ribeye and a Ryby. Jesus. Am I concerned about loose skin when I'm concerned about losing fat right now. I'll deal with loose skin. I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. Right now, I just want to feel better. End the stream and burn everything. We've been caught. I don't know anybody personally, I don't think, that has cerebral palsy, but I know of it. Oh, shit. Dude, Chris got fucking called out, dude. Your dick pics that you sent to Ryby, she just implied that you got a tiny little penis, dude. She just roasted you, dude. Roasted, toasted, and burnt to a crisp. Dude, she pulled you out of the toaster and put you right into the frying pan, dude. Right. Oh, he said he hates you. Oh, okay. So you're saying like he sent you some dick pics with a big old chub. Even worse, dude. Yeah, how do you send wiener pics? Yeah, dude, why are you sending pictures of your wiener to somebody that you hate, dude? How does that work? Oh. What do I think about the It trailer? I think it sucks dog shit. I talked about it earlier. What's the worst movie you enjoy? I like, I like Troll 2. I really liked watching that movie Splatter. It's on Netflix. It's only 40 minutes long, and it's the worst movie ever, dude. But I like bad movies, so. I should do P90X? Okay, let me go kill myself. Let's have a 300-pound dude just start doing P90X, dude. I think I'll just go to the gym and eat right, if that's okay with you. I'll just do it that way. I like Danny Brown. I like his flow, man. I like his flow. Troll 2 is a great movie, yeah. You think weed in the near future will get 0 points of federal legalization, or Big Pharma too much have a hand in it? You think weed in the... Well, I can't understand, dude. There's too much shit going on in that question. I tried to... Try again, dude. Please insert quarter to try again. Will Smith dies at the end. He was a ghost the whole time. Oh, shit. Spoiler alerts, dude. Paul, what's the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten? That's a good question. I know I've eaten some really disgusting shit before. Like, one time I was eating a chicken nugget when I was a kid, and I bit into it, and like, to take a bite of the nug, and like I pulled, and just like this giant, I think it was a vein, came out. Like it was like a big long tube, fleshy tube of shit. And it grossed me the fuck out, man. It grossed me right the fuck out, dude. It was like an artery or some shit, just like a big fucking tube of vein. And it was gross, and I don't know. That's the type of shit that grosses me out, though, dude. Some people would just be like, oh, it had a vein in it. Oh, well, let me get another chicken nugget. But I wasn't able to eat chicken nuggets for months after that, dude. Do you think weed will get federal legalization in the near future, or does Big Pharma have too much of a hand where the federal government won't go that route? I don't know if it's going to be the near future. I mean, I think we're certainly on the path to federalizing, at least federally decriminalizing weed. But it's going to take time. It's going to have to be a lot of states are going to have to see the efficacy of legalizing and regulating and taxing marijuana and adopt that state policy before the federal standard will change. And it's certainly not going to happen under Donald Trump. So I'd say the near future is fucked. Not with Jeff Sessions as AG. That's just never going to happen. So I'd say that, if Trump is a 4-year lame duck, that there's a possibility that if his predecessor is a liberal, that may happen in the 8 years following the Trump presidency. But I'd say for the next 4 to 8 years, we're going to be lucky if we get to keep the level of legalization that we have. Smoke some shatter? No thanks. I'll stick with weed. Thanksgiving. Yeah, I've seen Thanksgiving. Yeah, the crazy turkey. What the fuck, man? Your thoughts on public education? It needs to be gutted and absolutely overhauled. I think we need to open our minds to the idea of privatizing some aspects of school in a local way, allowing local businesses and people to invest in the future of their students and provide avenues for students to learn things about local businesses and the way that things are done. I think we need to move away from this general education style and more towards a vocational education where kids are placed into classes as they get older that reflect their strengths and their interests, so that kids can be more focused when they come out of high school on a career. There are some states that are doing this already. Texas is actually one of them. Texas has at least some parts of Texas has a target school program where the schools are subsidized by the local community via taxes, and they're basically private schools that are subsidized by the local community. And these private schools offer vocational educations for high school kids starting at their graduation from middle school. So that's really what I think we need to move towards. And a lot of liberals are scared to look at a place like Texas and go, wow, here's here's a state that's doing education correctly. Texas. Because there's this narrative, there's this meme on the left that everything that happens in Texas is total dog shit. Nothing that they do works. And that's just not the case. Texas is doing a lot of things right when it comes to education. They're doing some things wrong too. Texas is known for having this ideological control over the curriculum. They like to ban certain books and insert certain, curriculums that support a more America-centric, jingoistic, Christian worldview. I don't like that about Texas. But I will tell you that children in Texas are getting a better education than children in California on the whole, at least around the area where I was in. And I have heard from other Texans that these target vocational schools are not uncommon in Texas. And if that's the case, then why aren't we looking at what Texas is doing and trying to find a way to nationalize it? Why is the word privatization such a nasty word when it comes to liberals? I'm not talking about taking education out of the public sphere completely. I'm talking about allowing privatization to subsidize public schooling in ways that are going to help it regionally. You have 2 kids, and Texas is one of the lowest ranked states amongst the United States in education. That's why I would agree that we need to cut the system. I'm telling you, when it comes to the choices that kids have, to give an example, an anecdotal example, Ashley's little sister is 13, going into high school, and she's going to a target school that is based on theater arts, performance, and film. And that's in San Antonio, Texas. Actually, in a suburb of San Antonio, Texas, there's a target school for theater and film. There was no theater program in 99% of the schools in California where I worked. So, we need to look at these things. Anecdotal. Thoughts on trade and vocational school? Absolutely love the idea. I think that certainly, I think that we could take the trade school idea, the post-secondary trade school idea, and integrate parts of that into our middle schools and high schools. Start moving children towards their aptitudes and interests. Universities would laugh at target school curriculum, not even close to entry requirements. Well, universities are riddled with problems as well. So I think universities and their curriculum standards might be getting an overhaul along with this, in my mind. We talked about public education, so let's talk about public universities. Overbooked classes, shitty teachers at the community level, shitty curriculum, forcing people to take sometimes full semesters, more than full semesters of shit that has nothing to do with what they're interested in order to ensure a rounded education. I don't think our universities are doing a good job either. So to say that universities turn their nose up at Texas target school entry requirements doesn't really say a lot. That's like the garbage man turning his nose up at a banana peel, or a rotten sandwich or something. It's like doesn't make sense to me. Student loans are a goddamn racket. You're absolutely right. Look, dude, the whole fucking system needs to be gutted. Period. Oh yeah, dude, the 2 years of bullshit, the 2 years of general ed where you gotta take classes that you don't fucking care about and you're paying out the ass to do it. You're paying for the privilege to do high school part 2. That's not the way that universities should be. That's not the way that education should be. Education, that's what primary school, middle school, and high school should be for. Generalized education, focusing, finding out what your area of interest is, and then moving on to college to study that area of interest. Now, if there's some area that you go into, like physics, where you need a well-rounded idea of multiple different mediums of learning, you need math, you need science, Yeah, you got to take those things, but they're all supplementary. They all feed into what you're interested in. They're not. You're not going to school to be a teacher and taking sociology, or maybe sociology would be one that a teacher would have to take. You're not taking quantum fucking math and 80 billion different types of fucking, biology that you're never going to use. You might be going to school to get a business degree. You're not having to take fucking theater classes and gym. Allow people to focus their educations in high school, or in high school too, but in college certainly. What book most influenced me growing up? Probably. I don't know, man. That's a tough question. There were books that were really big in my life at different points when I was growing up. Like, I've talked a lot about Hatchet by Gary Paulson. That book really changed the way I looked at reading books. I read it pretty soon after reading Hatchet for the first time, and that book changed my expectation of what reading could be. And then I read The Lord of the Rings not far along after that, and that book changed my expectations for how big and sweeping and amazing a book could be. I don't really have one book that I thought, man, that's the book. Why is Paul losing subs? It might be people that subscribe to the old channel and don't like the new format. There also is a bug on YouTube where every time you do a live stream, you lose a chunk of subscribers for no discernible reason. A lot of people are positing that it has to do with YouTube deciding that my content or your content or whoever's content is not suitable or not interesting to some of these people, so it takes care of that unsubscribing for you. But it's been widely documented that pretty much every time you do a live stream, you hemorrhage subscribers for some fucking reason. The age gate shit. You're pregnant with your second child, and the resulting hormones have so ramped up your sex drive that it's hard to get through the day without thinking about sex. As it is, Mickey Richards, dude. Cross-posting the start of some fucking erotic fiction, dude. What's a specific part of human history you find to be fascinating? I like thinking about the times in human history where we have little to no real idea what was going on and what the structure was, like prehistory. I like trying to think what it must have been like to be alive as a primordial human being, where there weren't these giant cities, there were no amenities, you were living in a small roaming hunter-gathering family group. And what kind of power structures and religious structures and belief structures and morality sprung up around that. I really wish there was a way for us to know what the inner lives of Stone Age people were like, because they're so similar to us biologically. I mean, they're indistinguishable from us biologically speaking. They're human beings, but they live so incredibly differently than we do, and it's hard to even imagine it being raised in this society. So that's the area of human history that I'm most curious about. I haven't read Sapiens, but I'll check it out. All you knew was your family, tribe, village, your animistic religion, the shaman and his drugs, and the neighboring tribes. I mean, maybe. I mean, certainly those things were probably a big part of life for a lot of roving human bands. But certainly you could go back even further than that. I mean, what was it like for the first humans to set foot on the continent of Europe? When humanity first reached that point, when there was no settlement, there was no opposite tribe, there was no human beings, only these Neanderthals, right? What was, since they were so incredibly similar to us, what was Neanderthal inner life like? What did they care about? What did they value? How did they treat one another? How did they settle disputes? What did they believe about the world that they lived in? These are things that we can infer a little bit from cave painting and some Stone Age tools that we found, but really, we don't know, and that's sad to me. But it is interesting to try and infer what they would have cared about and what they would have thought. I should prank call TJ. Maybe I will. Maybe when I end this stream, if he's still streaming, I'll call him and I'll keep interrupting his stream with my phone calls. Do you think students in high school should be given more freedoms? Like what? What do you mean, like more freedoms? Which freedoms specifically do you think need to be extended to kids in high schools? I've seen every Paul Thomas Anderson movie. He is my favorite living director. Only just edges out Tarantino, but P.T. Anderson makes beautiful, beautiful films, and I've seen everything he's ever done. What do you think would happen if we could bring a caveman to current times? I don't know. He'd probably not adjust well. Do you think a problem in America today is we focus too much on the founding fathers, but not where they originally got their ideas, meaning Enlightenment era philosophers? I mean, I was talking in a broad way about this with TJ the other day, just offhanded. Like people that worship the founding fathers, if they actually were in a room with the founding fathers and didn't know that they were the founding fathers, they would probably call them faggots. These men, wore powdered wigs and thigh-high socks and shoes with bows on them and spoke like high British nobility. I think there's this idea among some people that the founding fathers were these country guys that were just like, we came here to make America. But they're British nobility, and they dressed different and they had different ideas about what was proper. So these people, I don't think that many of these people that revere the founding fathers would even appreciate being in the room with these people. Of course, yeah, dude. George Washington looked like King George. His parents were British. Many of these men were either British themselves or born to British parents or grandparents. They spoke differently. They had very different ideas on rights and responsibilities, social norms. They would not get along with these people. Yes, he was. Many of the founding fathers were pretty cruel, sick people. How do I interpret the Second Amendment? Well, I believe that the Second Amendment had its genesis in the desire for the founding fathers to force the states to provide for their own common defense by keeping a large and well-organized militia of the citizens of those states. And I think that was really the idea the founding fathers had when it came to a standing defensive army for the United States, because of the problems that they faced during the Revolutionary War in getting enough conscripts from all these different separate entities. So it was them trying to write in this idea that the states had this responsibility to keep an armed militia to defend themselves. Also, there was clearly a need in some of these states for their to be a group of armed people to respond to slave revolts. If you read about the push for the Second Amendment, slavery is a hot topic in those talks and in those early documents, because slave revolts were starting to happen, and people were, being killed, and they wanted to make sure that that control remained. And so providing for every white man being a part of a militia and having a gun would allow you to ring the town bell if the niggers got unruly, and here come a bunch of white people with guns to help clean it up. So I think that the Second Amendment was written to provide for the common defense of a bunch of colonies, and to have the citizens of those colonies take responsibility for the defense of that colony. That being said, I think it needs to be revised in modern days. I don't think it should be removed. I think that there is some wisdom in having a codified example that people have the right to keep and bear arms. But I don't think that that means that everybody just gets to walk into a store and plop down $450 and buy a fucking assault rifle. I don't think that that's the intent behind the Second Amendment. And I don't think that the founding fathers that participated in the writing of the Second Amendment, having the benefit of the knowledge of what a gun is now versus what a gun was back then. See, Second Amendment advocates hate talking about that. They hate talking about the fact that when the Second Amendment was written, the fastest shooter in the world could reload and fire his musket twice in about a minute and a half, and they were wildly inaccurate. You know the saying, "You can't hit the broadside of a barn." Though that came from the weapons of that era, highly inaccurate, bullshit weapons. Certainly not something you could take into a big crowded mall and kill 28,000 people. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big difference between a musket. All right, everybody stand still. This is a mass shooting, so don't run. Fuck, gotta pack that powder down. All right, time to add the powder in there. Quit running. This is a massacre, you fucking faggots. God damn it, get the powder in there. Yeah, get the powder in there. You motherfuckers, I'm still in range. Yeah. So, given the absolute fact that when the Second Amendment was written, a firearm was a completely different piece of machinery, I think it's about time we take a look at that old Second Amendment and give it a little update, don't you? Don't you? Yeah, me too. Everybody's like, so I knew there was going to be somebody that goes, no, I don't even think it's relevant that when this thing was written that a gun was something that you could barely kill a person with. I don't think that's even relevant to the conversation. Well, then fuck off. Go be unreasonable. Stupid fucking people, dude. They can't have my guns. I can't touch my guns. Cause them founding fathers, them fairy faggots and powdered wigs and flowery shoes, man, they want me to have my fucking AK. Benjamin Franklin done said it, man. Every man should have a Bushmaster. I read that on Breitbart the other day. Benjamin Franklin himself said every man should have a Bushmaster. Every man. You dumb fucks. How do you feel about basic income? I think it's inevitable as well. I think it's a stepping stone to post-scarcity. But, you know what I mean? The Bushmaster, dude. The Bushmaster. Yeah, man, I saw it on the Drudge Report, man. It was a quote directly from Thomas Jefferson. And he was talking in a letter to one of his friends, and he said, the most important thing in my life is my Glock 9mm. And like, if you're going to tell me that they didn't want us to have guns when they wrote that. How do you feel about robots producing more wealth than ever before, but all of it being owned by a handful of dominant shareholders? Well, once again, you know my position on, capitalism, democracy, modern society, and what I think needs to happen. So, of course, I dislike it. Honestly, I wish Paul's dream government would just come into existence. And, well, yeah, I mean, look, dude, I wish it would too, but the fact of the matter is, if anything even approaching what I'm talking about happens, I'll be dead in the ground and forgotten about for millennia. Like, it's going to be a long, slow process, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't advocate for it now. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, like, try and advocate for people orienting themselves and their thinking towards that now. So that's why I spend my time doing it. More strict background checks. Background checks. I think mandatory training courses. I think that a zero tolerance policy on the improper storage of a weapon leading to the death of a child or the accidental death of anybody. I think that there needs to be jail time involved. If you are a gun owner and you leave a gun in a place where a toddler or a fucking middle school kid can go and play with it and show it to their friends, and they blow somebody's head off or their own heads off accidentally or non-accidentally, I think that the person that owns that weapon that failed to store it properly should go to prison. Maybe not for murder, but for manslaughter. It is a huge responsibility to have a fucking gun in your home. And it's not just whoopsie daisy when a child or somebody picks it up and accidentally kills somebody with it. It means that you didn't do your job as a gun owner and keep your fucking weapon secured when you're not using it. And because of that, somebody's dead, you just get to go, oh, I can't believe little Billy was such a bright light in my life. Oh. No, you get to do that in prison. Dipshit. I'm just sick of the excuses, man. Everybody's like, it's my right to own your gun. Well, rights come with responsibilities, fucktard. If we plant the right seeds. What's your honest opinion on Onision? You've heard it already, dude. I think he's a piece of shit. I mean, I don't know whether or not 50% of what he does is bullshit or 70 or 80. I don't know what the bullshit level is, but I do know that he's full of fucking shit, and he's not a good person. So there you go. Cars and guns have similar destructive power, and thus I'd say, well, sure. Nobody bitches when you have to be licensed. That's because there was no fucking the internal combustion engine didn't exist when the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, so they didn't write rules for cars in there. Fucking machine guns didn't exist either, and they didn't write rules for those. That's up to us. A few months back, a 7-year-old shot and killed himself while playing with his dad's handgun 2 streets over. It's fucked up. His dad got no jail time and milked it for sympathy. Of course he did. What a tragedy. A tragic gun accident in a San Antonio home tonight. A 4-year-old boy was playing with his father's pistol and shot himself and died en route to the hospital. We go to Graciela Moreno for more. Hi, I'm Graciela Moreno. I'm here with the father of little 5-year-old Timothy, who blew his brains out because his dad's a dumb, shit-kicking, shit-heel Texan hick that leaves his guns laying around. Let's listen to him weep for the loss of his son's life. Oh, he's such a good boy. Oh. Fuck you. Tell it to the warden.
And you know what? When you get out too, guess what? You don't get your guns back. What, Paul? Nope. You get one chance. You get your one chance. See, you get your rights to own the gun. You go through the fucking process. You make sure that gun is stowed properly. And then if you fuck up once and somebody shoots themselves with one of your guns, you go to prison. And then when you get out, you don't get to get guns no more. Because you've showed that you're not an adult who can handle the responsibility of having a firearm. You're a dipshit that leaves their gun laying around where kids can get it. Fuck this second chance bullshit.
Will the peasants come to Berlin? Yes. The peasants are coming to Berlin. His dad even told him where it was. Yeah, well, whatever. He's a piece of shit, and he's responsible for the death of his child, and he should serve prison time for negligence, gross criminal negligence, and leaving that fucking weapon in a place where a 7-year-old boy could get it and kill himself with it. When there's easily accessible options to keep that from ever happening. Trigger locks, gun safes. The list goes on. But this dipshit couldn't even leave it unloaded. What a fucking shitheel. Go directly to jail. After a sentence, you would imagine some might actually learn, well, you know what? We can't take that chance. No, we can't go, well, maybe he served his 6 months for gross negligence in the killing of his son and he learned his lesson. So here you go, sir. Here's your guns. Nope. Let me ask you a question. Somebody walks into your house and takes a shit right on the floor. And then just leaves before you can catch them. And then they come knocking at your door 6 months later. You gonna let them in? You gonna trust that they're a changed person that learned not how to poop on a floor? Or are you gonna say, stay the fuck out of my house, retard? You don't get second chances when you fuck somebody else out of their life. They don't get no second. That boy doesn't get a second chance. Why does he get, well, can I get a gun again? Well, sure. Fuck you! Yeah, you fuck up with a gun, you're done. That's the Paul's Ego legislation. Fuck up with a gun, you're done. Done. Somebody hurts themselves with a gun, you go to jail. And when you come back, guess who's gun-free? Billy Bob. His parole officer comes twice a week to search his house and make sure he's not spiriting away any fucking guns. Yep. You shoot off a round in your house, there should be a fine immediately. Nobody gets hurt. Immediate fine. And, possibly go back to fucking class and learn trigger discipline. You hurt somebody by accidentally discharging a firearm on your property, you go to jail, dipshit. End of story. End of fucking discussion. Me and your helper could see, so you delivered a washing machine to a rich guy's place. You could see a World War II 30 cal machine gun on a tripod and 4 crates of ammo. Yeah. Because, that's what you need, man. You need a 30 cal in your backyard. Fuck this shit, dude. Fuck this stupid shit, dude. common sense is lacking in our society. Cons don't get guns for a reason. I'm pro Second Amendment, but I believe the regulation should be 10 times higher. Sure, I'm not anti Second Amendment. I'm pro reinterpretation. I'm pro revision. I think that the Second Amendment wording creates ambiguity in a place where there should be none. But I'm not anti Second Amendment. I think it should remain in there. I just think it needs an update. The amendment needs to be amended. You see? I can't stand listening to you to talk about this subject. You're so hopelessly ignorant and emotionally tied to the subject. Nor do you understand the fact that half of the shit you want is already law. Really? So when that dude in Texas, his little 7-year-old boy shot himself, they took his guns, huh? He went to jail. He went to jail and they took his guns, and he can never own a firearm for the rest of his life legally, right? And before he bought that firearm, he had to go to a class, right? He had to go to a class to teach him how to properly handle and store that firearm so that he's safe with it, right? He had to go to that class, right? He did. He didn't just go to a parking lot, right? He didn't just go to a parking lot and buy a gun from some dude off the back of a truck, right? No, he didn't, dude. He certainly did. He certainly didn't have. He didn't do that. He went to a really long, in-depth class on gun safety. Yeah, you're right, dude. It's all fucking law already. Next time, why don't you pick an actual problem with what I'm saying rather than just critiquing how you can't stand listening to me? Because that really tells me nothing. I mean, if you can't stand listening to me, get the fuck out. You got a problem with something I'm saying, give me some specifics and I'm happy to talk about it. But if the only specific you're willing to give me is that you can't stand listening to me because I'm quote unquote hopelessly ignorant, then get the fuck out. Go find somebody who isn't to parrot your fucking opinion back at your stupid fucking ass. I mean, what else needs to be discussed? You're more likely to get Cthulhu to come out of the ocean and enslave mankind than... I know. Trust me, I know. And that's the great thing. Like, gun people will say that it's me that's emotionally tied to the argument. When their argument is, I want my guns, because the founding fathers done said it. And somebody has to defend the American people from despotism. Are you fucking kidding me? The Billy Bob Army? But I'm the one making emotional appeals in my argument for common sense gun reform and regulation. I'm the one making emotional appeals, not the people going, I want my gun. I love my guns. On the founding father done said I could have it. If you try to step in front of me, I'm gonna warn you, boy. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Come take it from my cold, dead hands. But I'm the emotional one. Fuck you. Flush your fucking argument down the goddamn toilet, dude. It's ripe. And it's stinking up your bathroom. I'm not disagreeing with your argument in any way, but what if the kid breaks into the gun safe and grabs the gun? If you can prove that the kid somehow circumvented a registered gun safe without having the combination and got the gun out and killed himself, then maybe the guy doesn't serve jail time. Because he raised, I don't know, a safe cracker. Ain't gonna happen. The kid gets into the gun safe, it's because daddy left the combination sitting on his fucking computer desktop or some stupid shit. Fingerprint sensors, absolutely. I'm a big advocate. I'm a big proponent of fingerprint sensors on guns, a gun that will not fire unless the registered owner is the one that's holding it, a gun that registers internally every shot that's fired with a fucking fingerprint.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Sign me up. I'd also be for a collection of all these old guns, too. If something like that becomes available, eventually we got to get rid of all these old fucking guns. So let's start a buyback program that eventually ramps up until, you know, the only people that have got guns have been people that have registered as collectors and that agree not to keep fucking ammunition for them around. And then they've got their smart guns that fire when their fucking finger is on the fucking sensor.
That's kind of dumb. Okay. Well, I guess living in a modern Western society with an average of what, one mass shooting every fucking 2 weeks is smart.
Smart! We're using our grapes here in America. You think it's far-fetched at the moment? Well, sure, yeah, absolutely it is. But we're talking about things that could be done in the future. Also, shouldn't kids be taught from an early age how to use and respect? Yeah, I mean, look, if you're going to have guns in your house, you should do that. But really, honestly, what needs to happen is those guns should be locked away from those children. Because even if you can teach a kid to respect something, and then they don't. Because kids are rebellious and not fully mentally developed adults. They don't always understand the consequences of their action. Ergo, they can't be trusted around guns. How about gangbanger guns? That's the real issue. I mean, you're talking about unregistered firearms and shit. You continue to enforce the law. See, once there's a national gun registry, it becomes real easy to confiscate weapons from people that don't have them, or aren't supposed to have them, aren't licensed, aren't supposed to have a gun. It becomes real simple to go, uh-oh, Tyree Williams doesn't have a fucking gun license. Chunk, 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 and chunk, chunk. Isn't it crazy? Where do you think these street pieces are coming from, guys? Let me ask you a question. all the people that think gun registration doesn't work. Let me ask you a question. Here's a question, guys. Gangsta, South Central LA, pulls out his gun and goes, "You on my set for the last time, homie." Ka-ka! And he noodles his rival with a 9mm piece that's unregistered. Happens all the time, right? Happens all the time. They find it. They find the gun. Now, let me ask you a question. Where'd that guy get that gun? Well, you'd probably say he stole it off of somebody. Okay, he stole it off of somebody. Or he bought it on the black market. Where did that gun originate? Well, in a factory? Where do factories send guns after they make them? To a store? So you think that maybe if we had registered firearm ownership, that guns wouldn't just disappear out of people's fucking collections? They wouldn't get sold a million times so you can no longer tell where that gun came from? Like, people think that fucking, like, there's some fucking ghetto factory where they're cranking out fucking machine guns and shit? Nope. These guns originate in a licensed firearm factory and are sold in America legally. Stupid fucks, man. How you gonna stop the black market guns? How you gonna stop all those rednecks with their fucking back alley gun labs? Creating up guns. Shut up. Guns aren't just some fucking drug that people are cooking up in their kitchen. They're being made in factories and sold legally. And then 6 months later, that gun ends up on the street because we don't have laws tracing that gun to its owner, and it kills somebody. Bingo, dude. It's really hard, guys. I know. It's a hard fucking problem. It's a tough problem, dude. Rednecks do make guns. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem in South Central LA. All those homemade redneck potato guns. Another tragic potato drive-by today is another one of these southern-made potato guns claims the life of another innocent bystander. Another one of these bolt guns created from pipes from the store down in Tennessee has shown up here in South Central LA and mowed down a whole group of people at a church ceremony. Shut up. Ghetto factories, you stupid motherfuckers. What's your stance on America's septic containment system? Fucking no, dude. I don't know, bro. What's your solution for filed off serial numbers, aka ghost guns? Well, remove them from the streets and require gun owners to protect their guns and sell their guns in a way that you can track them so that they don't end up in the hands of street people who file off the serial numbers so they can murder one another. Also, how about integrating something into every new gun that is immediately registered to its owner, and if it's tampered with, the gun doesn't work? I mean, let's start thinking about solutions here. We live in a My thumbprint gets me into my motherfucking phone. What's my stance on teachers' unions and how much should they make? I don't know exactly what the number a teacher should make is. I think that's a regional question. I think that teachers' unions are, they do a lot of good in protecting teachers from backlash that is not due to them when it comes to the performance of kids. When you're a teacher and you're thrown into a class that's 40-1, with half of that class being ESL students, the test scores of those children are not going to be good, especially given the fact that you're hampered by curriculum rules. So teachers unions act as an intercessory between the district office and the teachers in mediating disputes. The problem is that when a teacher is shit, the teachers union steps in and defends that teacher, even when it makes all the other teachers in the district that are paying dues to that union look bad, because you're seeing a horrible teacher that doesn't take care of their children properly moved around from school to school instead of fired. So there needs to be some mechanism by which bad teachers can be gotten rid of. Politically speaking, I don't know how you do that. Teachers and administration are incredibly adversarial at this point in time. They're not working together, they're working against one another. They're fighting constantly, and the teachers union is one of the allies over here on the teacher's side. So it stymies progress in some ways, but it's also a necessary thing. How do you reform that? Your guess is as good as mine, man. Bad teachers, though, can't be fired because bad is subjective. Sure. So we need to come up with a codified way of measuring teacher performance. Because when I'm talking about bad teachers, I'm not just talking about teachers where scores are bad. I'm talking about teachers where you walk into their classroom and it stinks because they don't clean their rooms. And the kids are unfocused and don't give a fuck because the teacher doesn't give a fuck. It's dirty It's noisy, it's chaotic, and the children there are basically being babysat. They're not learning a fucking thing. Those teachers get moved around. So you're right. That is my subjective idea of what a classroom shouldn't be. But I think a lot of people would agree with that subjective idea and agree on a rule against it. I think a lot of parents, if they had a ballot initiative that said, should teachers that keep filthy classrooms and don't care about their children be moved or fired? What do you think they're going to check? Janitors should be cleaning the rooms. Okay, they do. They do. But there's 1 to 2 janitors per school. And the schools that I serviced had, in some cases, over 100 rooms. If those guys cleaned from the start of the day to the beginning of the evening, they'd get through about 10 of the classrooms a day. So the teachers have a responsibility to wipe down the desks and to keep things picked up and to keep the room smelling good and not smelling like wet, nasty ass and disgusting, rotten food. And the janitors come in and they do what they call a brisk, which is they vacuum every fucking classroom. But it's the teacher's responsibility to prepare the room for that vacuuming. You don't necessarily agree? What am I supposed to do with that? How would you like an original boxed floppy disk set of Diablo 1? The original release I fucking love it, dude. That's a collector's item, man. I'm a Diablo guy, so that would be awesome. Sent? Are you serious? Don't play with my emotions, my nigga. A floppy version of Diablo 1? Holy shit, dog. It's one of the last games that they sold floppies as an option. I do have a floppy drive, actually. I do. It's in my old computer. I could just plug it in. That's really cool, man. A box set of D2? I actually have I have Diablo 2. I bought the collector's edition of Diablo 3, and it came with I have it here in a box somewhere. Let me see if I can find it, because it's so cool. One of these, like, bags. Hoo-ah. Books. Right there. It's gotta be here. It's just gotta be in here, fellas. No, you know what? I think I put it in the fucking closet. I'm not gonna go digging right now. I don't really have a place to put it anyway. Anyway, it came with like a little Diablo skull, and it's got the soul stone in his forehead, and that is a USB drive that's got Diablo 2, like the full edition of Diablo 2. So that's really cool. I don't even own Diablo 1 anymore. I lost my fucking original copy of it, so that's pretty cool. Why do you respond to my trivial statement but not the argument? It is due to the volume of messages. You said that you're quite dirty in your classroom, but you're very invested in your students. Okay, well, that is not these types of teachers. See, I'm not talking about a teacher that has problems with cleanliness, but is otherwise really great. I'm talking about teachers that are not cleanly, have no control over their students, have no desire to have control over their students, have no desire to use the technology in their classrooms or learn how to, have no desire to follow any of the directives from the administration or above, and don't give a fuck anymore. They're lazy and they hate their jobs. Those teachers should be fired to make room for new teachers, young teachers, teachers that care and are willing to put up with the bullshit that's required to be a teacher because they care about kids. So if your room's just dirty but you take good care of your kids, I'm fine with that. But if your room's a filthy hovel and your kids aren't learning and you don't give a fuck, get out of the way. How do you measure if someone's lazy and don't care? Go walk into their classroom. See, I was a technology specialist, which meant during the day I'd walk right into a classroom because I had a problem in that classroom. And you know what I'd see in the shit teachers' classrooms? I'd go, so there would be some days it would almost be like two different worlds. I would have teachers that were right next to each other in terms of classrooms, and I'd have problems in both. I'd go to one room and the kids would be attentive and having fun and engaged. And I'd go to the next room and the kids are sitting in a filthy fucking hovel. And the teacher's sitting over in the corner while they listen to a song and draw. And I go, well, let's see if that fixes it. I think we are back. I can't tell. I'm lagging from one side of the screen to the other. Okay. All right, cool. Gave it a little restart. I think we might be fixed. Okay, good. I don't know where the rant cut off what I was saying, but ultimately speaking, you observe a teacher to know whether they're doing a good job or not. Like I said, I was a technology specialist. It was my job to wander into classrooms at odd times during the day, not to observe teachers and their students, but of course I did as part of my job. While I was working on things, there would be times I'd be installing an update and I would sit and quietly listen to a classroom. And I did that over the course of 8 years. And I found that within grade levels, there was a humongous variance in the quality of education that children were getting, sometimes from teacher to teacher, sometimes classes that were right next to one another. They act different when being observed. Cameras. If a fucking McDonald's worker has to have a camera pointed at them to make sure that they don't steal $10 out of the till, why doesn't a teacher have a camera in their fucking room to make sure they're not abusing children? Hello? Then they don't know they're being observed. Then you can observe them without knowing that they're being observed. And if they're being shits to their kids, you got it on tape and you fire their fucking asses. This is not hard. Kids report abusive teachers. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes those reports are taken seriously. Sometimes that teacher's just shuffled to another school. I've seen it happen. Some with severe depression and anxiety. I want to say you helped me forget about all that shit. Cool, man. I'm glad. You consider making another YouTube channel with lessons? I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be a teacher. I'm just trying to care enough to make sure that kids get a good education and that bad teachers are fired to make way for good teachers. There's no way that you're ever going to make an argument for me that teachers that don't care about children should be protected by teachers' unions. Sorry, kids are more important than your job. And if you were a teacher, you'd probably know that. And if you don't know that, you probably need to be replaced with somebody that does. No matter how, you see, you can't avoid this from perspective, and you can't impose your own, no matter how compelled you are by it. because in each teacher's mind, it's a particular justification for their demeanor. Absolutely, I know that to be true. I spent a lot of time speaking to teachers and listening to them. Like, look, I was a dude that was around a lot. I'm a talkative guy, as you may or may not have noticed. And I'm not an administrator. I have no power over them. So I was taken into the confidence of a lot of teachers and talked to about their day-to-day ideas on their job, how they felt about changes, how they felt about the administration, how they felt about their place in our society and what the value of what they did was. And you're right, teacher to teacher, there is a very specific justification in the mind of that teacher for why they behave the way that they behave. But that's true of anybody, man. That's true of anybody. People that hurt other people, a lot of them have justifications for that in their minds. That doesn't make them correct, and we have to enforce a baseline fucking standard, man. We have to. If we don't, then we're doing a disservice to children. What kind of vetting should teachers get? I think that teachers should go through, and a lot of districts they do. Teachers are kind of walked into the profession by being allowed to be assistants to teachers, being allowed to be substitutes. I think that they should be heavily coached early on. There should be a structure in every elementary school on up of leadership amongst the teachers. And once again, some of this exists, but really it should be about training new teachers and integrating those teachers into the culture of the school and helping to facilitate them towing the line of that school. And teachers should be responsible for that. In every instance, other teachers selected from the group of teachers, the best of the best, they should be put in a position where newer teachers will shadow them and teach lessons while they are being observed. Now, this happens in some instances. It's called student teaching, but it's not enough. Student teaching is part of the educational process. I'm talking about a post-educational trial period where these teachers shadow teachers that are established good teachers for months, and slowly but surely take over responsibility from those teachers until they're ready to take on their own class. That's how I think teachers should be vetted. Absolutely. Coaches suck? Yeah, the coach system is retarded. I don't know if it's the same in your district as it was in mine, but that's silly. These teachers need to be subsidized for this. Good teachers should be put in a position of leadership amongst the teachers in their school, and a position of leadership representing those teachers outside of the school. Okay? Not administration. Teachers. Okay? Because teachers know when other teachers are shit. They know it. So putting it in their hands, allowing the teachers to drive the culture of the school is the way it should always be. Always. Administrators should be there to facilitate the teachers, not in an adversarial way, to facilitate the teachers in the education of their children, period. But in order to have that, you have to have teachers that are competent. Competent. And if you don't, then it falls apart. The reason we have this structure right now of administration and district office personnel that are adversarial with teachers is because they have to be. Because right now, teachers aren't vetted properly. And if there's not somebody walking through their classrooms and going down a checklist, some teachers just will not fucking toe the line. You got to eliminate that. You eliminate that, you eliminate the adversarial fucking nature of administration faculty relations, period. Move the fuck on? Okay. I've moved on. You'll never have to fucking hear me talk too long on a subject ever again. You're fucking banned for the rest of eternity. Get the fuck out of here. If I teach a student teacher how to teach, I would first have to teach them how to think and appreciate subjectivity, fact-based thinking, and critical thinking. Well, I'm not saying you're responsible for an entire teacher's education. Dinor, quiet. Somebody walked by and they're allowed to. Quiet. It's like, fuck me, man. Anyway, I understand your perspective, and look, mine is not based in anything less than hours and hours of thought and talking to people on both sides of that. I worked very closely with administrators. I worked very closely with teachers. I didn't just pull this opinion out of my asshole. And, some of these solutions may not be feasible given things that I don't know. But I know for an absolute fact that what we're doing right now does not work. It does not work. And if we don't change it fundamentally, then we're fucking our kids. Not literally, but figuratively, out of a chance at a future. I get worked up about things, guys. It's part of my nature. A leopard don't change its spots, so you'd be a great teacher because you have the thinking skills required to teach a student. But do you know how many people have a mind akin to yours? I don't know if I'm in the 0.1 percentile of humanity. My brain is pretty fucking average. And I don't know that I would be a great teacher. I don't have the patience required to be a great teacher. So I don't know that I agree with your assessment of me. But I'm glad that, we were able to at least have a conversation about it. And even if we don't disagree or we don't agree, I think we don't disagree as much as it may seem that we do. I think we both probably care about kids, and, finding the solution requires passionate people talking about things. Atheist homeschooling. Is there such a thing? I mean, isn't homeschooling just homeschooling, and you add something to it? So are you like having somebody homeschool their kid and teach them the atheistic perspective? I mean, I don't like it. I don't like homeschooling, period. I don't trust parents. I mean, parents are not trained teachers by and large, and I don't trust them with the education of their own children. I think there needs to be a baseline standard for public education because not every parent is a fucking teacher. And there's value to be added to a child's life spent with a teacher. Teachers are not just glorified fucking babysitters and shit. You'd rather your kids and students arrive to atheism themselves? Yeah, I mean, like, I when I was trying to have children in my previous marriage, and the woman that I was with was a Christian and I'm an atheist, we talked about this, and really both of us wanted the child to have the opportunity to ask us questions about our differing positions and to make their own fucking mind up. So really, like, that's how I would try and change this. Well, that's how I would try and change that whole idea of ideologically tinged homeschooling. It's safe to say that homeschooling is superior than our current education system, and I've done private schools that cost more than your rent, and they sucked. Fair enough. Once again, I think it kind of points to the fact that we need to overhaul public education, because there's no way that a blue-collar worker should be able to provide the same level of standard education as a trained professional teacher. And if that is the case in the United States, then we need to gut the public education system and build something out of the wreckage that works for children. Because you cannot trust parents to educate their children. The fact that you had a parent that was good at homeschooling and you got a great education doesn't negate the fact that there are kids out there that have parents that aren't interested in homeschooling them. They're not interested in keeping them in clean clothes and with food in their stomachs sometimes. You think those parents are going to sit down and educate their fucking kids? Wrong. hence public school, hence a baseline standard. Wrong. Wrong. There's my contribution. WRONG. Got him. I have not read Fifth Business by Robertson Davies, but I will check it out. Thank you. How do I feel about textbooks? Most of them suck because most of them are written to the baseline standards for whatever core curriculum law is in place. There was No Child Left Behind. Now it's Common Core. And when you write curriculum for teachers in the style of a script, and you don't allow teachers to deviate creativity in a creative way from that script to reach children that learn in different ways, then you just basically buy a very, very expensive stack of dog shit for each grade level. And it's filled with dog shit, and it's going to be forgotten by most of the kids that are exposed to it. And that's just the way it works now. The education system needs an update. It's only been around for 100 years and is made to prepare for factory work. I mean, I agree on certainly the basis for public education was to prepare people to enter the workforce at a blue-collar level. Certainly that the ideas for what education is supposed to provide amongst the populace have changed, but a lot of the structures behind education have not. Didn't give out work. She would just get in front of the class and talk. That's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know that not giving out any kind of assignment is a feasible way to run a classroom, but certainly lecture classes are interesting. Words I never use in my classroom: inappropriate, respect, professional, or any word commonly used by teachers to enforce a particular pseudo-factual vision of correctness. Wow, that's a pretty fucking hardline stance. I mean, the word professional. I mean, you're a member of a PLC if you're a public school teacher. That's a professional learning community. I mean, boring? Oh, man. Here, let me put the lights out for you, bro. There you go. Maybe the recommended that'll come up when you get booted out of this fucking stream won't be something boring. How do you feel about community service being part of your requirement need to graduate high school, because that's what some parts of Massachusetts does for a requirement? I don't really care. I don't really think that advances the I mean, maybe having it as a requirement for high school would be a good thing if high school itself wasn't utter dog shit, but I think it's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound right now. Community involvement would be a great thing, but we need to change the structure of education before we add things like that. Can you talk about this on Discord? I really missed most of what you said. Sure, that's fine. When you catch me on, we'll have a chat. Working on a school project where you have to make a poster exhibiting equality without words. What would you say are some symbols of equal protection under the law for all citizens? I don't know that I believe that equal protection under the law for all citizens exists, so it would have to be something that underscores the concept. Justice holding the scales with her blindfold on, maybe. A judge sitting at a pulpit with a full jury box next to him. I mean, these are certainly things that we uphold as systems that we've put in place to ensure equal protection under the law, but I don't believe that it exists. Exactly. How much justice can you afford? Yeah, what's your justice budget out there, folks? How much money do you have to spend on defending yourself from a life-ruining lawsuit. You skip your PLC meetings and take the ramifications in full stride. Well, once again, you're allowed to do that because you're protected by a teachers union, and those PLC meetings might have information that might help you. To just absolutely skip planning professional learning community meetings, I don't know, man. We'll read the whole thing. I'm trying, but like the chat moves fast. Old teachers in a staff room saying nonsense for 1 hour where they don't. Oh well, yeah. I don't blame you for skipping it then, I guess, at that point. But certainly, I don't really understand your beef with the word professional. You have no job and no money. How do I cope with not smoking weed for depression anymore? Get help. Get counseling. Would you be open to requiring a greater level of education for teachers? Some of the dumbest things I've ever heard came out of the mouths of teachers. I mean, yeah, sure. Teachers should be well educated when they come out of the classroom. They should be educated specific to the type of teaching that they want to do. So elementary teachers should receive a different education. In fact, I think they should probably split up elementary into 2 or 3 different types of education. I'm for the specialization of teachers, and the continued growth of teachers would be, I'm trained to be a teacher at the 3rd to 5th or 3rd to 6th grade level, but I want to be a kindergarten teacher. So I go back to school and take professional development that trains me specifically to deal with kids of that level of psychological development. And then I become a kindergarten teacher. Right now, teachers get a generalized teaching certificate and a credential, and they're allowed to teach within a wide variety of classes. A teacher could be a first grade teacher or a 12th grade specialty economics professor, at the college prep level. It just kind of depends, and I think that really there should be a level of specialization. One of the things that was being implemented when I left was highly qualified teachers, HQT they called it, which means that teachers are trained to teach at the level that they teach. I suggest that happen. Equates to an inability to relate to kids. I'm often perceived as unprofessional because I dress like a student. Professionalism is not really limited to just dress code. I mean, you are a professional whether you like to label yourself one as not. You're a professional in your field. You're an educational professional. That word, it has meaning, and I think it's useful. That doesn't mean that you have to dress in a fucking suit, but you do need to uphold yourself to some minimum standard of professionalism while you're at work. And teachers should collaborate as professionals and help each other as professionals. That happens all the time, Dick Baum. You had a physics teacher didn't know shit about physics. That happens all the time because there's no teachers that are specially trained. So they're just like, all right, Mrs. Hanson, you're now the fucking history teacher. And she's like, I don't really like history. I don't know. Too bad. Here's the curriculum book. Just read the script. That's how teaching is treated. You hold any special attachment to objects or material things in your life? Sure, man. Right behind me, sitting right in front of me, is an object that I'm very attached to. I got this made. This is a little clay sculpture of my dog Boogie, who passed away, unfortunately, and that's her little collar and her thing around it. And I keep it by me all the time. I'm very attached to that. That's a special thing to me. And if I lost it, I would be really, really sad. It's a meaningful thing to me. So yeah, I keep little totems around me. Sure. The Boogaloo. Stay away from colleagues and again perceived as unprofessional for it. Why? Because I can't stand their cock stroking and menial discussions. Well, yeah. I don't blame you. With professionalism, do you think teachers in high school should be allowed to swear once in a while? I mean, I think teachers in high school should probably be allowed to swear when they want to. I mean, I don't think swear words devalue education. But certainly
they shouldn't be standardized. I mean, like a teacher should speak however they want, within some reasonable measure of professionalism. But I don't think that a shit here or a bullshit there ruins education. How do you feel about teacher-student relationships? I conducted intercourse with my dancing teacher in community college. You conducted intercourse? You conducted intercourse. You conducted it. Cool, man. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this, guys. I got some shit I got to get done today. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace out.